What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Lai Ching-te has had a 20-minute phone conversation with former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi during his transit through Hawaii. The two discussed China's military threat to Taiwan, semiconductors, and AI. Taiwan's president is transiting through the U.S. state on his way to the Pacific for a three-nation tour. As Rick Lau reports, the Hawaii leg is a chance for Lai to set out his own diplomatic course.
A warm Hawaiian welcome for a first-time visitor. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te is in the US to shore up ties on the eve of a change in its administration. Hawaii, the first stop of a 6-day diplomatic blitz across the Pacific, where Lai will be looking to his friends to help counter aggression from neighboring China, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory and threatens to take by force.
Peace is priceless. And war has no winner. We have to fight together to prevent war.
Taiwan relies on US backing to help maintain its delicate status quo. The self-ruled island nation, unrecognized by most of the international community, including the US, which, regardless, is friendly with Taiwan, supplies it with the weapons it needs to defend itself from China's threat. In Hawaii, Lai hopes to maintain this arrangement as the presidency switches to Donald Trump, who has said Taiwan should be paying more for its protection.
If President Lai continues to emphasize the common objectives that Taiwan and the United States have in common, and maybe point out that Taiwan has, in recent years, raised its defense spending as a percentage of GNP to show that its commitment, and continues to buy U.S. weapons, and which the U.S. needs to do better in delivering. I think these are strong indicators of a desire to do all that Taiwan can for its own defense.
On his whistle-stop tour of this state, Lai has been presenting Taiwan as a worthy partner in its own right, highlighting common ground between Pacific Island communities. Buried inside this mountain is Hawaii's Emergency Operations Center, and it's from here that any response to a major disaster would be convened. Hawaii, like Taiwan, faces a range of natural disasters like earthquakes, and Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has come here to share his country's experiences and techniques in facing up to natural disasters. Lai's friends here have praised Taiwan for coming to Hawaii's aid when it faced devastating wildfires last year. A stark contrast, they say, to China's lack of response to the disaster. With his first foreign tour since assuming the presidency, Lai hopes to brush off China's claims and show that Taiwan is its own nation, looking beyond neighboring China and able to build on its existing ties with other countries across the Pacific. John Su and Rick Lowett in Honolulu, Hawaii for TaiwanPlus.
A batch of 12 U.S.-built battle tanks, the first of 108 ordered by Taiwan, will reportedly arrive in the country on Tuesday. The latest model M1 Abrams will be the first tanks Taiwan's army has acquired from abroad in 30 years. The military spent over $1.2 billion on their purchase. The tanks will be stationed at strategic positions around the north of the country. 15 Chinese military aircraft and 7 naval vessels were spotted operating around Taiwan during a 24-hour period between Sunday and Monday. The Defense Ministry says several aircraft crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, separating Taiwan and China. Others flew into southwestern and eastern parts of Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. The ADIZ is not Taiwan's airspace, but a buffer zone used for defensive purposes. The U.S. will introduce its third crackdown in 3 years targeting China's semiconductor industry. That's according to a Reuters report which cited unnamed sources. The move restricts exports of advanced memory chips and chip-making tools. It's aimed at hindering China's ability to develop artificial intelligence for military purposes. The measures come just 1 month before Donald Trump replaces Joe Biden as U.S. president. Trump is expected to keep the Biden administration's export restrictions in place while also placing further tariffs on imports from China. China's defense ministry has announced an investigation into a senior naval official for serious violations of discipline. That comes as a report in the Financial Times says the defense minister himself is under investigation. To learn more about the recent developments, Adil Brar spoke to Ping Kui Chen, professor of diplomacy at National Zhengzhi University in Taipei.
What's the significance of this new investigation China's defense ministry has announced against Admiral Miao Hua?
As far as we know, he was investigated due to a violation of disciplines. We don't know what those disciplines are, but the significance is that he is one of the members of CNC, the Central Military Commission. And without him, the Central Military Commission will have one member less. So it will have 5 members right now. It's supposed to be 7 members, right? So there are fewer and fewer high-level senior generals in CNC, which shows something about PLA right now.
The Financial Times recently reported that China's defense minister Dong Jun was also under investigation. What differences are there between Dong's and Miao's cases, if any?
I think Dong Jun is not involved. I think Dong Jun is not the target of the investigation. He is there to assist the investigation. As far as we know that many high-level generals and military officers also assisted investigation. So what it means is that it might confirm the other sources that we have claiming that the Miao Hua's investigation was due to his political ambitions, which means he is trying to group an elite or trying to make a faction within the CCP. That might be the real reason why he was investigated. He was trying to challenge the authority of Xi Jinping, or he might be a threat to Xi Jinping's authority. If we follow this train of thought, you might understand why the defense minister was involved, because this will require the defense minister Dong Jun to confirm that Miao Hua is guilty of charges.
What do these cases mean about Xi Jinping's control of the country's military?
Xi Jinping still have very good control over the military. Otherwise, he would not purge Miao Hua so easily. And the scale of this incident is broad, which means Xi Jinping is making examples for other people who may want to create their own political faction. As for corruption, I think corruption might be a widespread problem within the PLA. So it makes it a very good excuse to purge anyone that defies Xi Jinping. So you can say corruption or anti-corruption campaign is just an excuse.
That was Ping Kui Chen of National Zhengzhi University discussing the recent investigations in the Chinese military. At least 25 people have been killed in Russian and Syrian government airstrikes on rebel-held areas in Syria, according to the White Helmets. The opposition-run rescue service says 10 children were among those killed in strikes on rebel-held areas in Idlib and Aleppo. Rebel forces fighting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime seized control of Idlib province and advanced into parts of Aleppo in a surprise attack earlier in the week. The attack marks the most significant escalation in the war in Syria since 2020. Negotiators from more than 170 countries failed to reach a deal on reducing plastic waste at a United Nations meeting in Busan, South Korea. A deal was expected following the 5th round of talks, but people involved say at least some guidelines may have been reached for another round. Chris Gorn reports.
Environmental activists from 4 countries, including Taiwan, board a cargo ship carrying chemicals used in plastic production near Busan, South Korea. They were later detained by police. Their goal? To draw attention to the problem of plastic waste, while a United Nations meeting on that very topic was taking place on shore. At a conference hall nearby, negotiators from more than 170 countries tried and failed for the 5th time to reach an agreement on curbing plastic waste. Negotiations are set to continue at a later date. The meeting's leaders tried to be optimistic.
We have succeeded in many areas. However, there are critical matters still need to be agreed.
While the various parties still disagree on a solution, nearly all agree on the problem. The UN says that this year alone, the world will consume 500 million tons of plastic, 80% of which will turn into plastic waste, much of it ending up in the ocean. If nothing is done, the amount of annual plastic waste is on track to triple by 2060. Over 100 countries supported a proposal by Panama that would have set global targets limiting plastic production. However, a handful of developing and oil-producing countries, including Saudi Arabia, rejected the idea, saying efforts should focus on fighting plastic waste, not plastic production.
Every day of delay is a day against humanity. Postponing negotiation, do not postpone the crisis.
Environmental group Greenpeace says it's cautiously optimistic, despite the detention of its protesters on the cargo ship off Busan.
We are incredibly disappointed that we did not land a meaningful agreement here in Busan. I think the silver lining is that more than 100 countries representing billions of people stood up for the type of treaty that will reduce plastic production, protect human health, and finance the transition that's going to be desperately needed to address the plastic pollution crisis.
From officials in conference rooms to protesters on the seas, people around the world are pushing for urgent action on plastic waste. But with yet another round of negotiations falling through, they'll have to refocus their efforts on the next one. Kamashu and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Greenpeace's Taiwan office says it has been in contact with the protesters. It says it's waiting for the next steps from South Korean authorities and hoping for their quick release. A film restoration project at an arts university in southern Taiwan has repaired archival footage that languished in Belgium for many years. The film offers a rare snapshot of Taiwan's development during the mid-20th century. Wesley Lewis has more.
A glimpse into Taiwan's past. This restored archival film called Formosa documents some of the country's renowned scenic spots and of Taiwan's industrialization in the mid-20th century. Shot in 1959, the 40-minute film was commissioned by the nationalist or Kuomintang government to promote its image to the international community after it had relocated to Taiwan from China a decade earlier. It follows the template of an earlier Japanese film, Southward Expansion to Taiwan, produced in 1940 when Taiwan was governed by Japan.
那它里面内容当然就是有点像过去日本总督府时期所拍的南进台湾从北到南的各个景点的一次巡礼，所以两个比较起来，就会发现不同的执政者对于这种影像的诠释以及叙事，会有他自己想要加进去的意识形态等等的。
The film had been held by the Sun Yat-sen Cultural Center in Brussels, Belgium, which later became the Taipei Representative Office in the EU. It was later bought by Taiwanese film collector Zhu Shijie, who gave it to a team at Tainan National University of the Arts to undergo restoration and digital transfer. It's now being screened to the public for the first time in decades. Zhu says he didn't fully appreciate the historical value of the footage when he acquired it.
我当初不知道，当初只想测试我那台16厘米放映机而已。其实我会觉得说，这种超过50-60年的这个版权，能够留在台湾，不会留在国外。那至少说我们数位化，就是系统数位化以后，可以利用它的影片的价值去。 对于未来的影像制作者，然后可以有所帮助。
The team at the university have worked to save archive footage held by members of the public, emphasizing the importance of original images as primary historical documents. The restoration of Formosa offers a priceless snapshot of Taiwan at a crucial moment in the early stages of the country's journey to becoming an industrial powerhouse. Luffy Lee and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has taken 48 gold medals at a major international cup stacking tournament. Team Taiwan also won 49 silvers and 39 bronzes at this year's Asian Open Sports Stacking Championships and set 4 new world records. The country sent nearly 100 young participants to the tournament held in Malaysia, where a total of 11 countries and territories took part. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we take you to Austria for the traditional Krampus run, where people dressed as devil-like creatures run through the streets, teasing and caning anyone who dares get too close. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.